Hi, my name is Joanne Murphy. I'm the Special Education Curriculum Leader for Long Beach Unified School District. And I'd like to introduce Sean Seal to you today, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his experiences as a student in Long Beach schools. So Sean, can you just tell us your history of the schools that you attended in Long Beach and a little bit about what you're doing now?
Of course. Well, first of all, thank you so much for letting me come here today. My name is Sean Seal. I'm 23 years old, and I first started at Gannett Elementary School, Stanford Middle School, Millikan High School, and I'm currently at Cal State Long Beach and finishing up my last semester in 2012.
Great. And what are you studying at Cal State Long Beach
I'm studying philosophy and psychology.
Great.
And hopefully when it comes to career-wise, I like to go more in depth when it comes to communicative disorders and also neuropsychology.
Oh, great. That's very interesting. And what else are you doing aside from school? You told you were working as well?
Yeah, I am working. I am a college student aide at Stanford Middle School where I used to go to.
That's great.
And it's been 6 months that I've been working there, and I thought for the get-go I wouldn't be interested in working with children, but I actually do. They're so wonderful to work with.
Good.
Yeah, and I'm also I'm working seasonally at Abercrombie & Fitch in Cerritos Mall.
Great. So you talked a little bit about your long-term career interests. Can you tell us, thinking back to your experiences as a student when you were at Stanford in the Resource Specialist program, can you just talk a little bit about your experiences from that, what you remember, maybe what stood out the most to you? Or
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll never forget my first day at Stanford Middle School and in the RSP program. I was very introverted and really, really nervous at first. But I knew for the fact that, I had to fulfill my prerequisites in order for me to go further in my education. My main goal is to achieve higher education beyond, bachelor's degree. But so I basically learned English, math, and the importance of reading. Reading was the pivotal focus in RSP.
Okay, and if you think back to that, for your experiences with learning reading, can you talk a little bit about maybe what was the most difficult for you, and also when you're thinking about that, what are some things that teachers did to help you with reading?
Well, one of the things that made me very anxious was deadlines for certain, homework assignments and whatnot. I'll never forget the weekly reading logs that I was given each and every week, which was one of the best things that the RSP program provided with me. I mean, it let me, choose whatever I wanted to read and then finally mark down the important information that I need to put down just so that everyone knows what I'm reading, just as the author and title, blah, 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 and then just give, a simple summary and get my parents to sign it.
Right. And did you feel like when you did the assignment, the reading log at home, were you able to make connections from what you were learning about literature in school to what you were doing on your own with that?
I was very much so. That also gave me the opportunity to help me enunciate, certain words that I seriously had trouble with. I mean, I'll remember one time I was in RSP class and I was reading one of the Narnia books, one of the first ones. And there were a couple words that I literally, didn't understand. And then I, instead of, completely stopping and saying that, I'm a complete failure, I just said to myself, okay, I'm just going to sound this out really slowly and just continue reading, contradictive, for example. I just go contradictive. Okay, there we go, perfect.
Great. And if you think about the rest of your teachers, so you're thinking about your general education, language arts, math, history, science, what are some things when you're in middle school, if you can remember, strategies that teachers did to help you in those classes?
A lot of the strategies consisted of mostly group work. And definitely, I would say our RSP teacher would give a brief lecture, and then they would let us all just be in groups and finally just do whatever they wanted us to do. I mean, not in terms of just like completely like letting us go free. I mean, it was mostly, you know, identifying a certain article in a newspaper that we were very interested in and then presented to the class of what we, you know, reviewed.
Okay, great. Is there anything that you can think of that stands out to you aside from what you told us already as far as your experiences in middle school? Anything else that you think would be important to share?
Yeah. Well, as a brief history of my life, they diagnosed me as being autistic on the spectrum of autism, as high performance, as, you know, Asperger's and whatnot.
Okay.
But from the very get-go, I would say that I had really horrible social skills with people outside, you know, my school. I always wanted to be, you know, normal with everyone else, and I felt very self-conscious of how I'd present myself to someone that wasn't in RSP. I thought everyone would think that I was stupid, which I, you know, obviously wasn't. So, but if I didn't have RSP in the first place, I think I would not have be as successful as I am right now.
And was there a change for you from when you started in middle school to when you left that you can kind of think back to with that? Do you feel like when you left, maybe you kind of got over some of those fears?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my most memorable experiences at middle school, learning-wise, I don't know if you'll actually consider it learning, but it was just graduating from middle school. I mean, just walking down the aisle to the ceremony and sitting down and knowing that, you know, finally I got here. I got where I am right now. And then I went right into high school. Obviously, I had some more, you know, anti-social skills or social skills, whatever.
That's a big change too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then until then, I hit my senior year, and then I was completely out of RSP, and I was taking AP classes, and I was performing on stage, and I just said to myself, wow, I never knew that I can change from, you know, not talking to someone or not being able to shake someone's hand, and then immediately wanting to talk to each and every person.
Great. Is there anything else that you'd like to add that maybe I haven't asked you about, even if you think about high school too? That would be great.
When it comes to teaching kids, I've noticed that a lot of the teachers who are either a parent or doesn't necessarily put themselves in the shoes of the children. I mean, me growing up, you know, not being able to talk, you know, complete sentences until I was 7 years old. You know, a lot of the parents just don't know exactly what to do in that sort of situation. So my advice to teachers is to be very empathetic and feel what they're feeling, and just go extremely patient, you know, and go with their speed of their learning as far as, you know, continuing to something more advanced.
Great. That's wonderful. Well, thank you very much for all of your insight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.